Southern border has been wide open. More than 5.4 million illegal border crossings, 1.5 million gotaways, and now Biden is considering welcoming refugees from Gaza. This comes as protests are erupting on college campuses. Seems the president is trying to appease Israel, Palestinians, and his voting base with the general election coming in November. But is this all backfiring on the president? Jason Nichols, he is a Democrat political analyst. We also have Brianna Lyman, and she is an elections correspondent with The Federalist. Jason, we've got college campuses right now in chaos. Israel isn't open to a ceasefire yet with Hamas. And Biden, how serious is he about importing people who supported the murder and rape of Israelis? Do you think that he's actually going to go forward with this?
So I would disagree with your framing, John. I think, first of all, this idea that he's going to import people who are in favor of the murder of Israelis is not accurate. I think what is being considered is that people who have family members in the United States who have been thoroughly vetted may be able to join their family members and get out of a war-torn area. These are not people who will be members of terror groups or Hamas or anything like that. These are people who have family in the United States, law-abiding family members. They may be able to join their family members and not be added to the number of 34,000 people who have been killed in Gaza. So I disagree.
I want to bring Brianna in here. That was good, great point, Jason. Brianna, I know you've been listening. What's your thought on this?
Well, Jason, it sounds like, first of all, you're repeating Hamas casualty numbers, which is just wholly inappropriate to do. But more importantly, look, Palestinians overwhelmingly supported what Hamas did. There have been poll after poll showing about 74% of Palestinians supported October 7th. And so to reward those Palestinians or Hamas essentially for waging this horrific campaign and then allowing us to bring in Palestinians that no other Muslim majority country wants is an abhorrent policy tactic.
And Jason, I'll go back to you on this, but I mean, the Biden administration right now isn't even really vetting the people coming in from the southern border, let alone these people that are in Gaza that elected Hamas.
So first of all, I'd like to respond and say that it's wholly inappropriate to discount the numbers that I just cited, which actually were published in Lancet, which is a medical journal, if you're not aware, and was from a study of death surveillance by Johns Hopkins University. That's an American university. So I'm not citing Hamas numbers. I'm citing Johns Hopkins University published in a medical journal that's peer-reviewed. Now, in terms of the southern border, we had a piece of legislation that would have addressed the southern border. It was bipartisan. It was led by Republicans. The president was going to sign it, and it was cast aside by some extreme members of Congress and led by Donald Trump.
Jason,
we can also say that over the last 3 months, we've seen migration actually go down steadily, and it looks like we're going to get even more enforcement from the Mexican side of the border as the president has been communicating with President Lopez Obrador from Mexico.
Jason, if you're talking about bipartisan border legislation, first of all, having 4 Republicans sign on is not bipartisan. Second of all, you want to talk about border legislation, talk about H.R. 2, which the House passed last year, and Democrats have purposely sat on their hands because they wanted to wait for an election year so that Biden could look like he's taking action, and he's still not doing anything.
Let's get to Karine Jean-Pierre. She had this to say about the whole situation. Let's play this out, and Jason, I'll get your reaction.
In terms of the refugee admissions program, which is what I believe you're asking me about, we are constantly evaluating policy proposals to further support Palestinians who are family members of American citizens and may want to come to the United States. So we're evaluating it. I don't have anything to announce at this time.
Jason, your reaction from the White House there?
I mean, I think that they're looking at it. If it's something that they don't feel is appropriate or correct, then they're not going to do it. But I think looking at people who are concerned in the United States about their family members, whether they were Ukrainian Americans or Palestinian Americans, we certainly did that for other people, like I said, like Ukrainians. It should be something that's considered. I know if my family members were in the middle of a war zone and I'm an American citizen that pays taxes, I would want to lobby my government to protect my loved ones. So I think that that's appropriate to actually look at that and see if it's something that we want to do. If it's not in the best interests of national security, then the president and his team will not go through with that.
But Brianna, I mean, you look at this, and I mean, that would be, we're getting involved in what Israel is trying to do here. Would this sort of counteract what Israel's been doing? They're trying to go into Rafah right now. They want to eliminate Hamas. And the U.S. is saying, hey, there's a safe haven here for people to come over to the United States.
Right, a safe haven for people. You know, they say, oh, well, the Palestinian families who live here. Well, let's not forget that a majority of Palestinians American have also supported what has happened on October 7th, and they've tried to justify that. And Jason wants to talk about how the White House won't do it if it's dangerous to the national security. We have had people on the terrorist watch list come across the border into this country unvetted. So I don't think the Biden administration cares at all about who is safe or not for the American public.
Jason, I want to get your reaction to this. President Biden and Luke Skywalker over the weekend. Let's end on a lighter note. Let's watch this soundbite real quick.
May the 4th be with you. Always.
I mean, is he trying to be Is he trying to be popular? Is he trying to get into Star Wars voters? What conceivable reason did he do to bring in Mark Hamill into the White House?
I think Mark Hamill is a fan of the president. I think sometimes we need a little bit of levity and light moments here in the United States. There are people who are always at each other's throats, and sometimes the leader of the country needs to lighten the mood just for a moment. And I think that's what Mark Hamill and the president of the United States were doing there. We can use some light moments every now and again.
Brianna, what do you think of this? I know you're not a Star Wars fan,
yeah, but you said Star Wars voters as if it's like a major voting bloc.
It's a big group.
Presidential candidates have to like go out and be like, I got to appeal to these Star Wars voters.
People love Star Wars, and you know what? Maybe he's trying to tap into the Star Wars. All right, we're gonna have to leave it there, but thank you so much, Jason Nichols, Brianna Lyman. Appreciate it both. Always a pleasure having you on. All right, hundreds have been arrested amidst these anti-Israel college protests. While we thought that these students, we thought they were students, but think again, more than half of them are outside agitators with no connection to these colleges. So why not bring in the police if these are not